Hello, and welcome to Semantic Reactions, the official podcast of the Institute of General Semantics. My name is Ben Hauk, and I'm pleased to be able to introduce the 23rd episode in our ongoing series. We have departed from our usual format for our July installment, which was recorded in the United Kingdom. The episode consists of a series of short takes that were captured via an iPhone voice memo app, the occasion being the 3-day summer seminar that the IGS offered on July 25th to July 27th at the October Gallery in the City of London. Over the course of the 3 days, IGS President Lance Strate recorded the ruminations and evaluations from the other faculty who were leading the seminar, IGS trustees Mary Lahman, Dom Heffer, and Nora Bateson, as well as New York Society for General Semantics President Peggy Cassidy. The episode also includes responses from some of the students and participants in the seminar, reflecting on what they learned and experienced. The set of short interviews were recorded at the end of each day at a hotel bar near the site of the seminar. So, let's pull up an imaginary chair and hear what they had to say.
Hi there, this is Lance Strate, and I'm coming to you from London, where we just completed a 3-day general semantics seminar called Navigating the Now, a Guide to Recognizing What is Going On. And what a 3 days it's been. We covered such important subjects as the map is not the territory, the word is not the thing, and the organism as a whole in an environment. We talked about perception and sensory awareness, the structural differential. We talked about verbal and meta-awareness and consciousness of abstracting, reification, and the IFD disease. And of course, we went over the non-Aristotelian principles of thought and topics such as extensional orientation, multi-ordinality, non-elementalism, and the distinction between facts and inferences. And we also got into very important related ideas like linguistic relativism or the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis, the idea that different languages give us different ways of viewing the world, different ways of thinking about the world, and the important idea of metaphor, how metaphors affect the way that we think and experience reality. Also, different kinds of statements like definitions and questions, different ways of asking questions, and the differences between different symbol systems, between words and images and mathematics, and about art and media, and differences between different modes of communication. And we got into ecological thinking and systems view and warm data and cybernetics, and also epistemology, the philosophy of science, philosophy of symbolic form, of logic, and of empiricism. In addition to yours truly, the seminar was taught by Mary Lahman, Nora Bateson, Peggy Cassidy, and Dom Heffer. And in the recordings that follow, you'll hear from all of them as they reflect on each day's proceedings, and also some of the 20 students that were in attendance for this year, this 2024 seminar, Navigating the Now, a Guide to Recognizing What is Going On. We're here after the first day of the 2024 General Semantics Seminar in London. I'm here with some of our faculty for the seminar, Nora Bateson, Dom Heffer, and Peggy Cassidy. And I'd like to hear their thoughts on how it went. Nora, this is your first time at a general semantics seminar. What are your thoughts? How do you think, what did you get out of it? What do you think about it? Let's hear from you.
Today was a great day. I think it started off fabulously, and we had a wonderful introduction to general semantics and Alfred Korzybski by Lance, and that was juicy and relevant and touched on all sorts of issues of communication and what it means in this moment. And then we got to play with sensory awareness, with Mary Lahman, and then with the notion of art as communication and awareness with Dom, and the trifecta was terrific.
Well, and speaking of Dom, Dom, you're here with us, and this is your first time doing the seminar in this new kind of setting and this new kind of orientation. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on how it went and just generally overall your reactions.
Well, it's very exciting. First of all, to see the audience as well, and to see the diversity of the audience from all sort of different backgrounds, different awarenesses of general semantics, different levels of understanding. I think they've all taken something quite a lot away. A lot of quite thoughtful faces were leaving the seminar room today. It's a nice environment to be in as well. In the heart of Bloomsbury, which is a very creative part of London, associated with the Bloomsbury Group and Virginia Woolf and Clive Bell. But yeah, as Nora was saying, a great cross-section for today for an introduction. Your own talk this morning, and then with Mary's focusing on the structural differential, I think eased people in very nicely. And I think they'll be all busy evaluating as we speak in their hotel rooms or back away. They've taken a lot in today, so I'm very optimistic to see how the next couple of days is going to go, and how excited they are by the creative potentials of GS by the end of Saturday.
Well, and Dom, you had them do, in addition to talking about general semantics from an artist's point of view, you had them do an art project. Can you tell us a little bit about the project?
Yeah, so I thought it might be nice, because Korzybski talks a lot about tactile elements of learning. I thought it'd be nice to get them to have a bit of hands-on sculptural fun with the structural differential, and we got some very interesting forms. I don't know if Korzybski would be too happy with some of them, but the whole point was to add that element of play and to incorporate the central ideas of the structural differential whilst actually feeling it and holding the shapes in your hand. Is something that they could take away as well. And we had some really wonderful ideas, out of play, some potentially interesting innovations, because the differential, to my knowledge, hasn't been fully updated to 2024. So now we can index some of those right up to 2024. And there was one that was sort of replicating a spiral or a vortex, and then there was another one which used different coloured lines on the object level to suggest a variety of experience, and how that sort of creates a sediment or a structural layers of experience. There's some really interesting ideas, even if they were kind of done, some of them a little bit tongue-in-cheek.
Well, since we're dealing with an audio medium here, could you describe what were the bits and pieces that you supplied and asked them to put together?
Yeah, so I had cut the sort of central forms of a structural differential, the parabola or event level, the circles of the object and the animal level, and then the label shapes, and everyone got one of those each and 4 labels each, and it was their task to assemble those, but to not have the sort of limitation of replicating the differential as they'd been looking at it in Mary's talk that was prior to mine. So they were kind of a little bit more eclectic about their assemblages.
Okay, great. And that does go back to Korzybski's insistence that people need to have a tactile kind of experience with the structural differential, not just as a visual diagram. So it's definitely creative and fun activity. So also with us is Peggy Cassidy, and like like the rest of you, this is your first time in this new kind of general semantics seminar that we've started to organize. So, Peggy, what are your reactions as a faculty member, just observing now for the first day? Why don't you give us your thoughts and what stood out for you?
Sure. Well, I do think it was a really great start. I loved the diversity of the participants, both in terms of their disciplines, their professions. I didn't know what to expect, I guess, but the fact that there are people in medicine, people in law, people in education and philosophy and so forth. So that was really interesting to me. And the fact that they're from so many different parts of the world. So that I think will bode especially well, as I was already saying to Lance today, for the session that I'm doing on Saturday, which is partly about metaphor, but partly about linguistic relativity. And we'll have a great conversation because there will be people with so many different linguistic backgrounds that are facile enough in multiple languages to be able to kind of think about some of the questions that we like to ask when we think about Sapir-Whorf and linguistic relativity. I loved the way it ended on the practical, on the making of the structural differentials, because, I don't know, it sort of got everybody very energized and ready to talk about them when we show up in the morning. I think they seem to really want to stay and finish them and talk about them. And so that'll be a fun way to kind of come back in tomorrow morning. So yeah, I think we're off to a great start.
Well, wonderful, and we're looking forward to tomorrow, our second day, when Nora will be giving a talk about, Nora, what are you going to be talking about tomorrow?
Tomorrow, I'm going to be bringing in some excerpts from the talk that my father, Gregory Bateson, gave at the Korzybski lecture in 1970 that are published as a chapter in Steps to an Ecology of Mind as form, substance, and difference. And in that chapter, he, I think that he, well, first of all, we'll be talking about difference that makes a difference. But also some of the things that come up in that chapter have to do with an attention to this extension of the map is not the territory. So extending that into the unit of survival is not just the organism, it's the organism in its environment. And the perceptions around that way of actually practicing, perceiving not just the thing, but the context and the relationships around it. So I'll be looking at the image of the man with an axe that's in that chapter, where he's sort of saying, if you're going to look at this man with an axe and try to describe what's happening, you're going to be looking at a lot of things. Looking at the relationship with the tree, with the relationship of the making of the tool, with the relationship to the seasons, with the relationship to the forging of metals, with the relationship to all sorts of things come into that image. It's not just a man with an axe cutting down a tree. So things like that, just that practice of going beyond the abstracted perception into a way of seeing into the relationships that are there, so that maybe we make fewer mistakes in our responses.
Wonderful, and I should have mentioned that our theme for the first day was the map is not the territory, and among the things we covered was perception and sensory awareness, and this will segue into Nora's talk tomorrow morning and into the theme for the second day, the word is not the thing, where we'll more fully look at language and abstracting. We already covered the structural differential, and now we're sort of moving up in level and down on the model itself and into the language levels, and from description to inference, and generalizations and conclusions as we talk about where language comes into play and the non-Aristotelian principles that Korzybski and others try to instill in all of us. So we're looking forward to that, and we'll continue this report tomorrow. So now it's day 2. We just finished our second day of our 3-day General Semantics seminar. And I'm here with another one of our faculty, Mary Lahman. And Mary, what are your thoughts on the seminar? How's it been going? How you feeling about it? Tell us.
Thanks, Lance. Thank you, too, for inviting me again. As you know, this was my dream to have these summer seminars, and I think Dom said it yesterday. Who would have thought 10 years ago we'd be in London doing the second seminar? So just feel blessed with not only the way people are playing with the material, but also how thankful they are and appreciative they are, whether it's between speakers or at the end of the day, appreciating today the pacing, the time to think and work through some really important ways to help us delay responding to automatic thinking. Some of my favorite things have been this idea that I'm now aware of all the choices I'm throwing away. And I've somehow opened up this magic in me, and I am so aware now of where I self-deceive myself on the inference part, and the appreciation for trying to do semantic relaxation. When today we worked with apples, and we were trying to experience them without words, and as we talked later, and there was a lot of talking while it was going on, so we didn't really accomplish our goal of relaxation of our words. But what we did see is the structures that emerge are those words that evoke memories, in my case, evoke some tears about those memories, and just if we are more aware of the abstracting that we're doing, we're more aware of the meanings then that we attach, and that I think ultimately helps us share meaning with others more. If we're aware of the meanings we have, then we're more curious about the meanings they have. And I think I just feel blessed. Again, I probably should use that on the abstraction ladder and give you more concrete things. But I know when I move to tears, as people sitting around me eager to learn and appreciative of something I think Lance has known for years and the Institute for General Semantics has known, it really is about a science of approaching life more sanely. Thank you.
That's a great way to put it, a science of approaching life more sanely. We have to remember that one and get that in writing. Thank you, Mary. Now back with Dom Heffer once again, and like to hear your reflections, Dom, after now 2 days of the seminar, 2/3 of the way through, including your own session on the visual arts and general semantics. So your reflections, your thoughts, your reactions, your evaluations, Dom.
Okay, so what people can't see at the moment is that I'm jumping up and down with joy. But no, it's been really good today. So I think in these situations always it's nice that as people get to know each other, I think the whole atmosphere becomes more relaxed, that people are more inclined to share. But as far as the actual programme and progress we've made in the programme is concerned, I think today it's been really interesting, kicking off with Nora talking about her father, Gregory Bateson's speech. Did he give that an AKML?
Yes,
was that an AKML?
It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't at the AKML. It was the Alfred Korzybski Memorial Lecture of 1970.
Yeah. Well, that was really interesting in thinking about being able to think about Bateson's relationship to general semantics, which I hadn't fully understood, so I came away from that understanding that a lot better. And then, your own talk later, talking about the IFD disease, which I hadn't really looked into in great detail before, so that was really nice. Wendell Johnson's work. And then obviously the clip from Spinal Tap was a highlight.
What clip was that, Tom?
Well, there's so many classic moments in that film, but you picked out a real beauty, which obviously did make the point. We could certainly link it back to general semantics, of course, where we're looking through the guitars. And it's the famous clip where the analysis of the amps and the buttons on the amp, which don't just go to 10 but they actually go to 11, and that I think was really interesting, and I'll probably go home and watch that film again tonight. And then finishing off with, I think the seminars as a whole have become a lot more practical today, thinking about the extensional devices and some really clear exercises in engaging with those, incorporating those. So things, the theory, the ideas have become more practical today, which, I think the people involved, the participants have really appreciated that, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow, seeing where we're going to go tomorrow with it.
That's great. Thank you, Dom. So again, this is after 2 days of our seminar, and I'm here with some of the students of our seminar, including one repeat offender who's no stranger to Semantic Reactions, the official podcast of the Institute of General Semantics. Would you please identify yourself and tell us your thoughts on what you've experienced so far?
I am not Michelle, shocked. I got up early and I stayed up late. I was born yesterday, and I have just been wallowing in the rich structure of yesterday's sessions and then today's sessions, and then jet lag hit me. So I'm hanging in there, but I am so glad that the opportunity made itself available to come to London for this seminar. And I understand that this used to be a kind of a annual thing, and it stopped. And I'm so glad that you've picked this up again and doing it, because this is always the way, being in a group, and the exercises that we're doing, the presentations, the instructors are really taking to heart the different things that are possible in a group environment, not on a Zoom call. So I'm glad to be here.
Okay, and is there something that stands out for you of what you've experienced over the last 2 days?
Yes, the international caliber of the group, that it feels to be here in London, which always prided itself on being an international center, which I didn't really believe to the extent, but now when I see how it enables people to come from all over, we've got international folks from pretty much the four corners of the Western. Anyway, it's a nice, diverse, eclectic mix, and I'm enjoying getting to meet a lot of these folks. And also, I let the record show, I am a repeat offender. I took this last year, and it went right over my head. And I did not realize how much I was absorbing the information, because now that I'm getting it this year, I'm actually understanding, and I'm putting it in a location in my understanding, not as a map, not as a territory, but as a location in my knowledge base. And I'm really enjoying the different exercises that I can apply it to.
Well, that's just great. Thank you, Michelle. So I'm here with another one of the students in our seminar. Can you tell us who you are and where you're from?
Hi, my name is Paola Lanzarini, and I'm from Bologna, Italy. Yeah. And I'm here through a connection through Nora Bateson and her warm data training, and Mauro Ventola on ontology. So I have both connections, and being in this course has helped me and is helping me to find the root of my approach to language and thinking, and I'm actually realizing more how this is the approach of Korbinski's, is the basis of so many of the teachings I already had with NLP and other kind of courses, but this is actually helping me to go back to the roots of how using words and metaphors and language to express reality, and kind of helping me in analyzing better what I'm seeing and perceiving of this reality through language.
Well, I didn't realize you had a background in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and of course that phrase neuro-linguistic comes from Korzybski, who spoke of our living in a neuro-linguistic and neurosemantic environment. But your background is more diverse than that. Can you tell us a bit about how you started out in your pathway here?
Yeah. Well, I kind of learned economics, and then through economics I moved to England and worked in finance and then sustainable development, and went back to Italy and doing corporate social responsibility and management of social projects in foundation.
And are you finding this relevant to your work that you're doing now?
Yes, for example, devising the code of ethics and even the use of language in describing the projects and sustainability, I think is essential to transmit the essence of interconnectedness, being interconnected.
And what have you dealt with here? What have you encountered here that you find particularly memorable, or kind of sticks out for you?
Yeah. Through the analysis of dialogues I had, of examples of practical events, re-looking at them, and through analysis of this kind of approach, the ability of seeing it in a different light and finding more ways of framing what has happened and understanding it better at a deeper level.
Very good. And warm data, we're actually going to have a bit of warm data. I mean, we had some from Nora Bateson today, and we're going to have a bit more tomorrow. How does this relate to warm data for you?
Well, it relates in the sense that through the kind of use of language is not in a kind of black and white way, but in a kind of tridimensional aspects. It kind of helps you to create connections with reality and have more perception of what is actually happening, and not having a kind of decrease or a schematic way of looking at things, but enlarging the vision of reality. Yeah.
That's great. And of course, our theme for this seminar is what is going on, right? WIGO, what is going on? And the navigating the now, just being aware of our surroundings. And I'm here now after day 2 with another of our faculty, Peggy Cassidy. And Peggy, your reflections on day 2 of our seminar.
I think day 2 went very well. I think it was nice now that people are starting to get to know each other, and we're able to kind of double back around on things that already came up in day 1 or in other sessions. And I kind of enjoyed getting into the nuts and bolts of general semantics concepts that people can really use in their lives and in their relationships. And I think people probably came away today with things that they can put to use.
And tomorrow you're going to be talking about metaphor. Do you want to say anything about that?
Yes, we're going to talk about metaphor. I have been hearing people using metaphors. Once you know you're going to talk about it, you hear them everywhere. So that's kind of interesting. But I'm especially interested in talking to this multilingual group and just hearing some of the things that they have to say about their experience in different languages and how metaphoric they feel their various languages are, or what kinds of metaphors are dominant in their cultural traditions. So yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Great, thank you. Well, it's the end of day 3, and we've finished our seminar, and we're out here with some of the teachers and some of the students from the seminar, and I'd like to get some reactions for our semantic reactions. So can you please tell us who you are and what your thoughts were about the seminar?
So I'm Roger Duck. My reactions, wow. Thanks, Lance, for putting me on the spot here. I thought general semantics is everywhere. I hadn't realized this before. I found myself at one level catapulted back into kind of like a school environment, which at one level was quite fun, strangely. And it created a bit of playfulness in me, wanting to poke at the underlying ideas behind general semantics, actually. And there were a number of other people in the room who were doing the same thing. I think it's probably going to take a little while to process what I've learned from this. And I'm left, actually, interestingly, thinking in particular about all the stuff that goes on below language, the bodily sensations that I'm left with, and also having had the experience today in day 3 of doing a warm data lab with Nora Bateson, left with the idea of the possibility of creating new words, actually, new semantics to hold some of the experiences that you can have, the trans-contextual experiences that you can have in a warm data process. I have no idea how coherent that came across, Lance, but
Not too bad, not too shabby. I mean, our expectations are rather low after all, but that was really nice to hear. And getting past the language level and back down to the nonverbal level is, I think, a lesson that perhaps you learned from our seminar, or at least had reinforced. We have another person who attended the seminar here, and maybe we can hear from you.
Hi. So, thanks. So, my name is Madhu Einsiedler, and I'm from Vienna, Austria. And I think my biggest take, I need to focus on you because Glenn's is occupied. I think my biggest takeaway is that general semantics is a way to increase awareness and get us out of our automatisms. And for that, I'm just eternally grateful, because I think whatever gets us out of our automatisms just increases. I would want to use the big word healing in this world, so that we're not programmed by our past, but that we can delay our reactions and actually act more aware and more consciously. And I think general semantics is exactly supporting that and giving us tools to do that. So for that, I'm just eternally grateful, because, yeah, I'm just repeating myself. Thank you. Thank you, Lance. Thanks.
That's great, and great to hear. And I happen to have sitting next to me now Dom Heffer, and this has been your first time as part of our faculty, if you like, and our artistic director for our seminar. Dom, now that it's all over and done, what are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, Lance, thanks for the promotion. I didn't realise I was artistic director. I'm very, very, very grateful for that. So it's been brilliant. The 3 days, I think we've covered a lot of ground. For me, it's been wonderful to hear the exchange of ideas. Just to create a forum for the exchange of ideas has been wonderful. Just the fact of doing the warm data workshop today was a real revelation to me. A beautiful but simple idea of putting people in different groups and being able to move between the groups and between the contexts. That was a really useful experience for me. And then just the group discussion towards the end. I think we've covered a lot of ground. There were no references to Spinal Tap today, which, Lance, I was a bit disappointed by. I wanted some more Nigel Tufnell. I think Nigel Tufnell, to sum up the experience, would say, well, it's one louder. It's been one louder. I think that's the best way to sum up the experience.
That's great. Thank you, Dom. And I'm here with some more of our participants in the seminar. We had a few who came from Mexico City to join us. Can you tell us who you are and what your thoughts are about the past 3 days?
Okay, I'm Jimena. I'm from Mexico. I study on the Universidad Panamericana. I have learned too much. I love being on the seminary. The phrase of the map is not the territory really inculcates a huge knowledge, and it's amazing how it works on present, and it involves too much environment things, too much specific things about the real world. Because we know that, we only talk on daily news, or on daily chat, and daily conversation with our family, our friends. But we don't think about the most specific things about that. We have to know each other about how much words work with each other, how much words and reality are how its relation works. And it's important to know it because the politics, all the world, the language, it's so much affected with that. The power of words are very involved in that. So that's my knowledge of this seminary, that words are powerful.
Just great. Thank you so much. And believe it or not, we actually have, some participants from London here in London. And standing in front of one now. Tell us who you are and what your thoughts are of this past 3 days.
Hi, my name's Davina, and I'm so lucky to have been so close to be able to be part of this. Previously, I've kind of touched a little bit on course. I'm going to get the I've touched upon the ideas, but to be able to sit and listen to the history, to have a wee bit more around context, to bounce off other people about metaphor, about context, about all of those sorts of things, to do it with Nora, to do it with people that I know as well, and to meet new people. It's just been a wonderful process. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Are you willing now? No? You?
I just messed it up big time.
Tell us who you are as a participant. I'm recruiting people here, and what your thoughts are of the past 3 days.
Oh, amazing! Thank you. I'm Adam, and I joined the Institute of General Semantics seminar for the first time, and it was I loved, because my background is warm data and classical philosophy, so I like to see alternative frameworks for the ideas I already hold and kind of synthesize that together, put it together, and how my work with language, both with language and philosophy, kind of fits in a new model. So it was obviously quite a dynamic process, like meeting different people in different perspectives, and we shared ideas together and exchanged, like challenged each other's perspectives as well, which was, I think, very useful to engage on a genuinely, having to reframe things as we went. And I recommend it totally. So thank you for the hosting, and I look forward to the next one.
Thank you very much, Adam.
Cheers.
Okay, tell us who you are and what your thoughts were of this past weekend, 3 days.
All right. So my name is Bernhard Einsiedler. I'm from Vienna, and I'm a leadership coach. And what I take away from this 3-day course is a lot, but mainly that the relationship between territory and map, and how we are mapping, and how many levels of inaccuracies and accuracies of maps we can have. And probably this thinking and reflecting will go on for days and weeks. So thank you.
Excellent, thank you. And let's hear from Peggy Cassidy, who gave a talk today about metaphor and has been with us for the entire 3 days.
I think today was a really nice day. I think it was a day where the group seemed to come together in a different kind of dynamic and interact more with one another, which was really nice and fun. And I think it was a good chance to loop back around to some ideas, to repeat a little bit, and give people... I think everyone is going home with some new things to think about.
And that about wraps things up. And I hope in this small and modest way we were able to give you at least a little bit of a taste of what our 2024 summer seminar was like, and maybe even whet your appetite a bit for our next summer seminar, 2025. We're planning on holding that one in Mexico City. We're also hoping to hold other in-person courses and seminars, as well as online courses and seminars in the future. As long as you're in touch with us, as long as you're a member and on our contact list, you'll be hearing about them in the future. So please keep in touch with us and keep on listening to Semantic Reactions, the official podcast of the Institute of General Semantics. This is Lance Strate signing off from London, England.
You've been listening to our July 2024 episode of Semantic Reactions, featuring Nora Bateson, Peggy Cassidy, Dom Heffer, Mary Lahman, and Lance Strate, and several of the students who participated in this year's summer seminar. If you like what you've heard, or even if you haven't, please consider becoming a member of the Institute of General Semantics if you're not one already. In addition to supporting our efforts, IGS members receive an annual subscription to our journal, etc., a review of general semantics, access to our online and in-person events, lectures, and seminars, and discounts on the books and audiovisual materials that we sell. Regular membership is only $50 and half off for students. Your membership and any additional donations you care to make will help to support our offerings and activities as we work to bring a measure of sanity to the world. The Institute of General Semantics is a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to research and education on a wide range of topics. They include language and symbols, meaning and perception, communication and representation, media and technology, science and epistemology, creativity, and critical thinking. We are dedicated to making the world a better place through practical strategies for improving our semantic environment, individually and collectively. For more information about the Institute and our activities, and to become a member and supporter of our work, please visit our website at generalsemantics.org. That's General Semantics, one word, .org. And this brings to a close our 23rd episode of Semantic Reactions, the official podcast of the Institute of General Semantics. This is Ben Houck, signing off, saying, we hope you'll join us next time. And until then, just remember this simple fact, that the map is not the territory.